What's up, guys? It's Bruce Matson, your host of the show, and I got some good stuff for you today. I'm going to be talking about Rashod Bateman, one of my favorite wide receivers in this year's class. And out of Minnesota, a low-volume passing attack, he was still very productive during his collegiate career. He broke out as a freshman around an age 18 breakout age. Had a 25.9% market share and a 27.97% dominator rating, which was pretty good. And then that just jump-started a linear progression of a larger ownership of the offense throughout his collegiate career. So this following season, during his sophomore campaign, he had a 37% market share and a 36.25% dominator rating. And mind you, this is with him sharing the offense with Tyler Johnson, who was also considered one of the best wide receivers in college football at that time. And that was the first and only year he broke 1,000 yards receiving and caught 60 passes for 1,219 yards and also scored 11 touchdowns, so hit that double-digit threshold there as well. So not only did he have the ownership numbers, but he also had the counting stats there for verification purposes. And then, of course, as we all know, 2020, his junior season, got a little wonky start. He was going to opt out, and then he decided to play. Played 5 games. Minnesota was rough. They weren't playing well. They were 2-3 before he decided to opt out again. And with him just producing 472 yards and 2 touchdowns, a lot of people are fading him because the counting stats are real low. But mind you, he still had a large ownership of the offensive production. It's just the offense wasn't productive, period, to begin with. Those 2 touchdowns he scored in his 5 games was 50% of all the passing touchdowns the team scored. He had a 50% touchdown share, which is really, really high. He also had a 47.79% dominator rating, and he owned 45.57% market share of the passing production. And this is broken in those 5 games he played. Usually when you do market share and dominator rating, you do the whole season, whether they missed a game or so throughout that year or not. But since 2020 is the year of exceptions due to what we're going through with this pandemic, I kind of made that exception for him because he just straight opted out. He's like, my season's done now. It's not like injuries or suspensions played a role in this. The reasons why you do that is because it kind of lends the notion if a player's like more likely to be injured throughout their career, that will show up in their market share. If they had a large market share of games, but they missed games a lot due to injury, that kind of shows up in the market share. But with this is totally different. This obviously never happened before. So it went game by game on those 5 games that he played. Against Michigan, he owned a 51.27% share of the passing production. Then at Maryland, it was 32.8%. At Illinois, it jumped up really high to 64.35%. And then at Iowa, he had a 66.45% market share. And then he finished it off with a 22.35% market share against Purdue. Wasn't super high, but it's not a bad ownership either. And metrically, he sticks out. Early breakout age, productive throughout his entire course of his career. Then you get to the tape, and this is where the magic happens. First thing you know, he's got speed for days. He can stretch the field. He's very fundamental. Like, he'll sell routes even on run plays, and he doesn't take plays off, and his hands are very, very strong. So strong that he just plucks it right out of the air, and he can continue running without stopping, and that allows him to get a lot of yards after the catch. He is a route salesman. He does a very good job at using head movement, using his eyes, using his shoulders to sell routes before he breaks them off. And there's really not many flaws in his profile. It's just immaculate. He has good ball skills and good body control when the ball's in the air. He does a very good job tracking the ball when it's downfield. Contested catches, he's gangster at that. He's tough at the catch point. Very aggressive coming towards the ball when it's in the air. If you want to nitpick his game, only thing I've saw, or one of the few things I've saw that are very minute and super fixable, was one, he false steps a lot at the line of scrimmage. His stance is a little wide, which creates like a tiny little extra step. I don't know if he was taught to do that or was told to do that, because it looks excessively wide, especially at times, not all the time, but it would slow him down off the release, possibly let him get jammed up on press. That's something that could probably be fixed in a day. If it's not already fixed and it's not something he was told to do, he might already have that fixed. But I don't really see that as an issue. I just see that's a little blip on tape. And that's something that is probably already fixed and done with. And then he didn't have much time against press coverage, but since he's very fundamental with everything I saw on tape, I don't see him getting pushed around on routes a lot. I don't see him really having any problems against press coverage. He's listed at around 6'1", 180 coming out of high school. He's thicker than that now. And out of high school, he's a 4-star recruit, ranked 31st in his class by 247 Sports. So highly anticipated recruit coming out, and everything has been snowballing to greatness ever since. Rashod Bateman reminds me, he doesn't remind me, but he's most likely out of all these wide receivers to be the Justin Jefferson of his class. He's not rated the top wide receiver in his class. He is by a lot of people, by some people, but not, he's not like typically rated top guy. Usually it's Jamar Chase or Devonta Smith, and he's up there, usually top 3, top 4. Some people got him top 2, top 1, just like Justin Jefferson was. Like, he was floating around the top, up and down, up and down. Rashod Bateman's kind of like that, up and down, up and down. This is where I get the correlation piece to this, and both of them are technically sound. Both of them are pretty much flawless to really, really good at the basic fundamentals. Don't do much wrong. Great route runners, great selling the routes. They're quick, they're fast, they have everything you need athleticism-wise. They got the size, and there's really nothing much wrong with their game. And to really find anything wrong with them, you really have to dig deep. Both these players. I'm not comparing the two, but I'm comparing their ranking situation with what could likely happen. Getting another Justin Jefferson that just blows up during the rookie season is actually rare, so I would not pin those expectations on any prospect in this draft. But considering how he's been viewed upon, and considering how Justin Jefferson was being viewed this time last year, there are some similarities, and they're both very, very talented prospects. We're looking at Bateman being a first-round pick, drafted probably around the same range as Jefferson, and similar skill sets, but different because they're different players. And right situation, of course Bateman could be productive year 1. Bad situation, probably still be productive year 1. It just how things mix and match. I think he's going to be productive at the next level. I don't see how things could mess up for Bateman. I feel like he's a very safe prospect. He lines up metrically. He lines up on the tape. And I watch and read other people's perspectives on him, and they line up close to mine. A lot of people are very high on his play, and there's just no reason to make me feel that this guy can bust. He's not bust-proof. Nobody is bust-proof, but this guy feels very safe to me. I like Rashod Bateman a lot. I think he will be a good piece to just about every NFL team in the league. He's that great of a wide receiver. But that's just my opinion. That's from what I've seen. I'll be having more videos on Bateman throughout the draft process. Hopefully, I'm going to be hitting on all the wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, and tight ends throughout the draft season. Keep you guys informed, and hopefully I can do it multiple times. If there's someone I'm missing or somebody you want me to hit on, just let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time.